Excellent. Good evening. Cubieverse is a GPS-based game where you walk to get keys, use keys to open trivia vault, answer trivia to get rewards, and use those rewards to enhance your in-game experience or convert them to real-life rewards. Thanks for joining us tonight as we take you into the Cubieverse.
All right, show number 3. We're planning on doing Tradeshacks and vending machines. That's the plan. How were you guys week in the Cubieverse?
Yeah, not too eventful. I finished Adventure Road and just getting ready for the Chinese New Year. Was trying to do some key saving. We mentioned, I think Magic Dragon mentioned last week that we were missing some of the mini events, but the chromatic dropping from the blue was almost like an event in itself. So haven't really been saving too many keys. I've been hitting those hard to try and get down another trade shack before the event starts. So was successful, and now it's just back to straight key grinding and making sure I'm ready to complete that quest chain. Just a little optimistic given the projected low drop rate of the epic. How about you, Magic Dragon? How was your week?
Oh, for me, it was a bit more of a grind this week. I'm still behind on Adventure Road, but spent the last few days really grinding out some vaults and catching up on it. Now I'm level with the day of the month, so I'll be able to finish that off next couple of days. So I spent some, and got a buddy quest done, so I was happy for that. How about you, Atrocities?
Nice. Well, my key count crossed 32,000 whites, so I'm happy with that. So not having that same issue that you guys are. But I've been trying to, I hit. I think there's one day since we started that I didn't hit level 6 for key counts, so I've been building those up. But then certainly I've been sinking a lot of blues in, as you guys said, with this chromatic paint. I've been trying to take advantage of it because it's I don't think it's going to last forever. So I've been sinking a lot of blues in the chromatic paint. How you guys been liking that generally with all the chromatic coming in?
Oh, that's been good. I've liked that a lot.
Yeah, I've got about 20 blues in my area. It's still a bit of a drive, probably about 25 minutes to hit them all, but that's it. I can clear 600 chromatic, so it's a nice bank.
Nice. And you do that twice a day?
Trying to, not always having time with Leo, but yeah, trying to get in as much as I can.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to change. I see that they're doing a server upgrade on the 30th, I think it is, next week. So I suspect that they may change it then. So we got a couple more days. We'll find out. I mean, even if they just start letting the other paint colors come back in on blues, it'll chop you
a little more random.
A little more random, brings it in, cuts it in by 1/7, right, of the amount. So there's definitely a lot of chromatic flooding in right now, and try and take advantage of it. Awesome. All right, so let's get into the topics for the day. So this comes to you from after our first show. We asked for some requests and some commentary, and so we got this message. Hey, perhaps for your next live stream, you can talk about Tradeshacks and vending machines, also about leveling up cubies. I think we're going to maybe discuss the leveling up cubies for another day, but do you remember who this came from, their line here?
Yeah, it actually came from Guinea Pig Fund. So thank you for the contribution. We've got quite a bit of ground to cover today.
That we do. Awesome. Thank you. So if you guys want to send some ideas in, we're certainly happy to get things going with them. So, all right. So, Tradeshacks and everything else. I don't know if you guys can see this, but pulling up this chart here I grabbed off Discord. If you guys want to see it yourselves or get a copy of it, just go to the main Discord page and go into the building subsection and look at pinned comments, and this one's right there. You can see on this one, it's got all the items you can build at this point in time. The relevant information here on this one is the Tradeshacks and the vending machines. You need to be built on top of a user vault, white user vault level 10. And I think you have to have a white user vault level 10 in order to buy the blueprint at any point in time. And the other most relevant thing on this here, I think, is that the Tradeshacks have a radius of 200, and likewise the vending machines have a radius of 500, whereby nothing else can be, and no other trading shack can be 500 meters of you. So, which isn't necessarily, sorry, that's a vending machine, 500 meters for the vending machine. Tradeshacks, it's 200 meters, and if you are going to be putting together your Tradeshacks, you want to check that out, because I definitely have heard of people that have picked sites for Tradeshacks and they were not 200 feet apart or 200 meters apart, and were not able to place them where they wanted to place them. So that's kind of an important thing.
Just a quick tip on that. Something that I do is I use Google Maps, and you can place a point down on the map and then another point where it is. So if you line up your section inside the game, then you can see where your tags are, and then you can kind of generalize where you need to ping on Google Maps and see the exact distance away. So I've cut it close a few times, getting it at 212 meters away, but nail biting as I go to place that trade shack on top of a leveled up white vault. So
yeah,
but yeah.
Magic Dragon, any tips on that?
Distance-wise, that hasn't affected me very much. So limited tags in my town.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. And then the other relevant thing I got here from Discord, also in the same spot, is it just shows you the amount of resin and chromatic paint you need to level up a white user vault, which is basically 2,520 chromatic paint and 189,000 resin to get there. So the way chromatic paint is coming in right now, that 2,520, it doesn't seem like it's a major barrier, but as I said, I think that's a short-term situation. So
definitely get it while you can.
Get it while you can, for sure. Yeah. All right. So, okay. Now, let's go into vending machines. Let's start with all the vending machines.
Oh.
Matt Dragon, you have something to say?
Yeah, are we going to talk more about Tradeshacks in general?
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I want to cover vending machines in detail, then go back into Tradeshacks in detail. That
okay,
was just
perfect.
First kind of like building general overview.
Yeah, just okay, perfect. Because I do have stuff to say about the vending machine, about the Tradeshacks.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
for sure. I guess one thing I would start off by saying as well, in general, is that as a player, you don't need to build every structure that's out there, right?
oh no.
I think you want to have access
if
to
you have players around them,
right? But
yeah.
don't feel like you need to.
Good point.
Build everything, and likewise, I do see when you're building, there is value in a concentrated mass. So if there are other, you want to build around other structures potentially, but structures perhaps other people placed that are obviously convenient to you, but if there ends up being a spot in town that's got advanced print shop, vending machine, a ton of, blue user vaults, everything else that people will get attracted to, there's definitely value in trying to build stuff like that rather than go and place a advanced print shop or vending machine in a place that's like super far away from anything else that's relevant to the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now that we're getting more structures coming our way, we got to start really thinking about advanced strategy. So it's going to be just a bit more than Tradeshacks, blue vaults, and everything we've had so far. Like rumors have it that we're getting exports next month with gift cards. So could be a lot of fun. To get I guess what I'm saying is get your white user vaults down on key locations now.
For sure, where you want them before someone else takes them.
Sure. But obviously, if you go and place a white user vault, get the 10, and somebody else does that as well, but they get there sooner, you can get shut out. So just be aware of that before you place.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know if there's anything else. We just want to get into vending machines.
Sure. We can get into vending machines. So on the screen here, I've got the thing for introducing vending machines. Obviously, it unlocks when you reach your white user vault level 10. So that's a thing about all these trade structures is you have to have that white user vault level 10 in order to buy them. So even if you're planning on buying them or wanting to buy them, until it hits level 10, you cannot buy. So once you do get a vault that's level 10, that's where you may want to buy all three Tradeshacks, vending machines, blueprints, whatever else for your future needs. Because I know I found it kind of annoying at one point whereby I had to get to level 10. And I knew I wanted to upgrade it, but I had to get to level 10. Then I had to go home, buy the blueprint, then go to an advanced print shop to get it stamped and upgraded, whereby it would be nice, and then go back to my white user vault rather than be able to go there initially with my stamped blueprint ahead of time. And maybe they'll change that, open that up. I think right now probably they're limiting that due to player knowledge and player experience, perhaps, until it gets to a certain level.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys' thoughts on that? How that works, that mechanic?
Yeah, I hadn't ever thought about it from the experience level of things. I thought it was just a restriction to give us early access and get to a few areas first. And maybe with the limit they had, they were maybe trying to push a mad sale on it. But yeah, think about it from the experience point of view, that they actually just don't want to dish these out to everyone and their uncle is a good thought.
Yeah, and it's a good strategy, like you said, to buy what you can, when you can, if you can, rather than realizing later that there's only 200 blueprints left or something, and you can't get one because you've already used your level 10 user vault.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I guess the other thing to say on the vending machine, it's got to be on a post office tag, which limits, so that really limits its location. So if you do see a post office tag and you want it, best to grab that or get it updated in OBS if there is one. And it requires 2 stamps also on the vending machine to get stamped. And that's not 2 Canada stamps or 2 USA stamps, but 2 stamps means like from 2 different countries. So you need a Canada stamp and a USA stamp to make it work. And then likewise, the amount of resources, paint, whatnot, 6,000 doesn't seem that bad. 100,000 resin. For newer players, that might be a bit of a limit, but it is what it is. And of course, you're only allowed 1 per player. That being said, if I kick to it, right, the functions of the vending machine, of course, are that you get loot codes. That's where you would put your loot code in. I know when the first loot code got released, we were traveling, not at home, and there was no vending machine anywhere near us, and we were freaking out. We were going to miss out on the loot code. And fortunately, there were plenty of loot codes left by the time we got home, so that was a happy thing. But kind of concerning when you go someplace and loot codes there is not available. And of course, the other key with the vending machine is that once a week you can do an export of converting Cubie coins into crystal keys. I do that every week because I want to maximize my crystal keys that I have available to us. That being said, we started doing it on a Monday, and now we're doing our Cubie exports, crystal key exports on Thursdays because we forgot one day, got there a little later, weren't able to go one day, and then things just got pushed back. I don't know how you guys are finding that.
Yeah. I do it weekly as well. We do it weekly as well, and it's pushed back a couple of days from when we started, but life happens, right?
It certainly does.
Yeah, like same here. I knew my reset was at 5 p.m. this evening, and I don't know if we're gonna get down there or not. We'd have to go immediately after the show. So yeah, it just gets pushed back, and some days, I set the timer a day ahead too far, but whatever. Just happy to be getting them now. I was really looking forward to these vending machines once they were first announced. So.
For sure. And I'm going to say, I think the vending machine is the best structure you can build. Just simply put, because it pays out in Cubie coin. So we are located in Canada. No, I mean, like as the owner of the vending machine, right?
Oh,
every
right.
time someone puts in 9,000 Cubie coin to be converted, you get 450 Cubie coin just because you're the owner of the vending machine. I think in the States, that'd probably be 500 Cubie coin you would get. And obviously it depends on whatever, but that's, in my mind, is the absolute best payout of any structure there is in the game. Because you can get, you can figure out, you do the math, and 20 payouts gets you the full value of what every time 20 people gets it, you get like basically a free export because you get that back. And I think if you really do that twice, you would get your value in that you spent on the vending machine. You get that out of it. So I think it's the best structure there is so far.
That's a pretty good breakdown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys agree that the vending machine is like? Do you think there's somebody better than the vending machine, or?
No.
You don't have to say what it is if
your
you think
math
it isn't.
correct. No.
No,
I think
I can't complain.
I think initially with the loot codes, when you could I think you still can put a loot code in and not cost your blue key, so you get nothing out of owning the vending machine with the loot code. But I think I'm not too concerned if I'm getting payouts on the.
That is going to change, though. We've been told that every transaction will cost a key eventually.
Yeah. All right. Okay, moving on to Tradeshacks. So Tradeshack thing is up here. I'm just gonna quickly go. So same as before. 2 stamps you need. In this case, you can get 3 per per player, can own per 3. It's once again, it's a standard 5% kickback on that. And you can place it on any tag that there is. The cost to place is 6,000 of the paints, and it's 50,000 50,000 resin. So its placement cost is significantly less than the vending machine, but getting that white vault, it's the same for both. Getting a white vault there is the key. So, and then the other thing to know about the Trade Shack is that you can only use it every 72 hours. Now, what was good is it was an individual timer base. Now they've reset that to resetting with the game. So that is excellent. So you don't have to be there right at your reset in order to that your time doesn't get pushed back. But like with
I haven't actually noticed that. So was that during the last event, or was that just after Hunter's launch?
That came in place, I believe, after the Christmas event. Or
okay.
Yeah. So like for instance, you could get it per se at 6 p.m. And have the game resets at 7 p.m. our time, and then it would say at that, and then it tell you at that point you have to wait 48 hours. So
okay.
So you don't have to be there, at 7 p.m. every time, which is a good change, because I know when it first went live, we did some, and it was like, was it 8 or 8:15? I can't remember. We got there for 8. It was 8:15, so now we're waiting around for 15 minutes, and then you do the one, but then you're faster getting to the next one, and you gotta wait 2 minutes for the next one. So that's a great quality of life improvement they put in. So that was good. So and then of course with these, you get a low chance on the bonus box. I'm thinking the low chance is less than 5%. I don't know, you guys. Now, supposedly, when you place a Cubie that's running the Trade Shack, the higher the level, the higher the percentage chance of getting a payout is. And likewise, what the Cubie that's running it is what determines what your payout boxes are. So fundamentally, what you want to be running a Trade Shack is an elite Cubie, because what also happens is you get your payout is half of the resources that that Cubie takes to build. So, for instance, the Necromancer, I believe, takes 2,000 green ooze. So, if a Necromancer was running the Trade Shack, you get and it popped, you get 1,000 green ooze. If instead you had the common green ooze Cubie running that, you get 250 ooze resources coming at you. So that's vitally important to have. If the highest level, highest Cubies you've got running those to get the most resources you want. So and I guess the other thing on that, obviously, if you want a resource and you don't have the better ones, then you got to do what you got to do to get them. But it is, and
that's my strategy right now, is staffing it with the resources that I'm hoping to get. I'm hoping right now I need red lay, so I've got Hawaii Cubies all stocking my Trade Shacks right now, so that I can hopefully get red lay as the bonus box.
For sure. Yeah, no, that's definitely the plan. Right. And likewise, though, if you get a Cubie on there that's got paint in it, like the leprechauns, you get a chance of getting 200. You had a chance of getting 250 chromatic, but you also had a chance of popping your low percent chance popping at 500 green paint, which was super annoying every time that happened to me. So
yeah.
Right.
I currently have a level 10 leprechaun on one of my Tradeshacks, and I'm working on a wombat to retire him. So
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely frustrating that way when you get to green paint, but it's out of your control. That being said, I mean that's kind of how the Tradeshacks work. Personally, I would think. Actually, I'm going to say this specifically. It feels like for the Tradeshacks, the Tradeshack is a really big structure on the map, but it feels like you got to be right there kissing it in order to get it to work.
Yeah.
And I think they need a larger range in order to interaction range with them. It'd be nice to go have an interaction range the size of a print shop or so. But at very, I think all the user structures, since they're being placed on the map, and OpenStreetMaps, they're putting them, like most of them are like right in the center of buildings, and because you can't really walk up into the center of a building, they need a larger range to account for that.
Yeah, I would say at least double of a blue vault, because I think as the range increases to
Reasonable.
place the structure, I think you should increase the range of interaction.
The thing I would like to see improved on with the Tradeshack is that since you're putting a key in it, I want those 4 points that I get from my Adventure Road, and I want them to count towards my daily task of if I had to get 15 vaults. If I'm putting a key in my Tradeshack, it should count as one of those vaults.
Mm-hmm.
That would be nice for me.
That'd be nice. So, but
sending a key, you get the benefits of it.
Yeah, I will say though, I think in regards to the Tradeshacks, I think you need to have access to them. And initially, I thought as a player, everybody should build 3, and which is what I did do. But since then I've changed my thinking. I think you want to have access to Tradeshacks, but if you can get away without building one, I think you're better off. Like I don't think it's a Tradeshack to the point of investment.
If you have access
unless
to
they
enough of them, sure.
Yeah, because with that limit there for blue tier structures, only able to have 5. Having 3 takes up a good chunk of those 5. So I have to agree with you there. But being in the small town, don't have much choice, and with Tradeshacks being so dependent on events and London or Kitchener being over an hour away, I'm stuck. So.
Yeah, because like obviously you need them for events, but if you can get away without using them, I would not recommend using them at this stage. I mean, if you think about it, you can only put one blue key in there every 3 days, versus in the old world, or if you put those same resources into a blue user vault, you can get 2 keys going in there per player every day, right? So your payout, is significantly quicker on the blue vaults. Your Tradeshacks are never gonna give you anything that's as a owner that equals your investment, or it's going to be a very, very long time before you get a number of blue keys out of them that equate to your investment in them. I would like to see them similar to a the vending machine, whereby if somebody goes to my Tradeshack and they get 1,000 lei, I want to get in the week. I want to get 50 lei as a result of that, right? That would make it worth far more worth it, because the other cost with these things is, I need to go get the Cubie, and in the case if the elites that I want, that I think you're best to put them with, you got to invest in the resources into those elites. You got to work them get them to level 10 in order to get that payout. And as a Tradeshack owner, that's you're putting in a serious investment there. But as but you're not getting any more advantage from doing that than any other player that's in your area.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So,
one thing I've always thought of that I'd like to see in a trade shack is what if every 3 days you could put something up for sale in a trade shack, like a buy it now function, instead of on the auction house.
Yeah.
And then that might cause a little bit of migration or like travel and QB tourism that, hey, I've got something up for sale in my trade shack, come and get it.
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, maybe. That's definitely a different thing. But I do think, like, as a payout mechanism, they're definitely hard to, hard to make your money back, and it's not worth doing it as a single player. Obviously, if there's a trade shack there and it pops for you, but as I said, the payout percentage seems super low. It pops for you and you get like the 1,000 of the hot resource. You can put that in the trade shack in the auction house and get value out of it, but so can any other player in your area. So, there's no real value for you to create and staff on it if you can get away without doing it.
Except for events. As long as you have access to them, I totally agree. But you have to have access to it.
Yeah. But in theory, as a game design, game theory, I think they're awesome. I love the idea. I love the inclusion of them. I just a couple tweaks as a player, I think would be good. The other thing about trade shacks is they're frustrating. We'll go out and we'll do a run of like 10 trade shacks, and if you get no results, which happens far more often than you would expect, it's really frustrating and disappointing. Like, I would almost recommend that they increase the drop rate, or like the drop rate, but reduce the payouts. That if they only want a certain amount of resources coming into the game through them, I get that, but I think it'd be far more a far more enjoyable part of the game if I got, instead of one drop of 1,000 every 50 trade chats, whatever it is, like I would get like 2 drops of 500 on a more frequent basis. So,
right.
Okay.
Yeah, we find ourselves avoiding some trade checks now, depending on what's happening them, just for that simple frustration that the drop rate does seem so low. And if it's not a high demand resource, it's not even really worth it now.
Yeah, because you're, blue at this point almost has equivalent of a green back in the old day that, blue's 10 white and use 10 white, you're getting the minimum amount of resin, you're getting the minimum amount of paint, the minimum amount of cubic coins, versus those 10 white going into a trade shack, you're just getting the minimum amount of paint. So the burn is real.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think that wraps up everything I have to say. I know I kind of got up on soapbox there a bit on the trade shack piece of it, but I don't know if you guys have any other comments you want to add on trade shacks before I move on.
No, that's got me covered.
Yeah, I think we covered like all of my sentiments. Just keep leveling up those epics. I do staff them with stuff that I can sell, and I guess one strategy I'm having is I'm stocking up on event resources, hoping that next event we go into, I can get on those flash auction sales.
Yeah, well, I was looking at that, but I'm trying to level up some epics. I'm trying to get the same same epics in all, or basically same epic in all 3 of my trade shacks. That way I increase the odds of a payout, which then increases the amount of resources I get, which hopefully then turns into being able to print the epics and then start selling them at some point. So, but got a major investment in some epics at this point. So, All right. So as I said, that's our discussion on Tradeshacks and vending machines. Moving on to our final point is Lionheart. This is your baby.
Yeah, so Buddy Quest shout out. So we introduced that last week. We had Tapping C and Vigs back, and I just scoured Discord that day looking for people talking about it. But we decided we wanted to get the community involved a little bit more on this, so we had to get a little bit more involved in social media and created a Twitter account and got all of you to submit shout outs to your buddies of same day buddy quests, having challenges here and there. And we put a few rules on it, that you had to have a snapshot of the seesaw, and you had to include the buddy quest shout out hashtag. But we overlooked a couple of things, so we're going to add to the rule base a little bit here. Do need everyone to include their IGN, because these were all great shout outs, but everyone that posted on Twitter, all I see in the screenshot of the seesaw is you and your buddy. So next shout out, we're going to have to include those IGNs. And then we're also going to have to limit submissions to active players of the game. So if you're actively playing, you can post on behalf of yourself. So we won't be able to accept submissions on behalf of someone else, and we won't be able to accept submissions with accounts that are not in good standing with Titanium Toaster Corp. So without any further ado, So without any further ado, we're going to announce the winners of this week's Buddy Quest shoutout. And Alan Kennedy posted on Twitter. He had a shout out to Trash Tube, and he had no issues on his side, but heard that Trash Tube had to dig his car out of the snow and referred to him as a total Chad. I don't know what a total Chad is. I'm curious to find out.
But it sounded positive.
I think it sounds positive. Yeah.
Yeah, it
so
did.
One time, yeah. One time only, we're going to reach out to Alan and Trash Tube, and we're actually going to give him a single-use loot code. Part of the rules that we've had to create for the Buddy Quest shout out is that you will have to contact us within 72 hours of the show. This is to encourage viewership. So if you don't claim your single-use loot code within 72 hours, then on the following week's show, we're going to have some sort of trivia question or something pop up. And if you're present, you'll be able to participate and snag up those loot codes. So Alan or Trash Tube, if you guys are watching, that's fantastic. You can just preemptively reach out to us. Otherwise, I'll get a hold of you. So yeah, every single week, we're going to have single-use loot codes to give out to buddies for the Buddy Quest shout-out. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and thanks to Illusion Weaver for hooking us up with that. I know Lionheart talked to him after the last show, and they were willing to support us. They thought the Buddy Quest shout-out was a good idea, and so we're getting some single-use loot codes to support the Buddy Quest shout-out initiative. So thank you, Illusion Weaver, for the hookup on some loot codes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and thank you so much.
Lionheart was the guy who arranged all that, so credit to him. So.
Okay, I'm just happy to be able to give back. It was pretty cool that now we've got content creator status and we're able to do pretty cool stuff like this. So maybe if we get some viewership up, we can maybe squeeze some bulk loot codes out of them. That'd be pretty cool, where everyone can just run to those vending machines and get some loot.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, so that's our last topic we planned to talk for the day. I got some ideas for next week's show, but we're going to need to discuss them. I think what we want to do here is take a short break, and then we're going to basically the short break. I think we need to reset the Teams meeting on our side, and then we'll come back in about a minute, and we'll do a Q&A for about 10-15 minutes or so. After that, we'll interact with the chat and see if we can talk about some questions they bring up. So hang on, and we'll be back in hopefully 2 minutes. All right, so do we have anything in the chat that we want to just talk to?
I want to find out from Alan what a chat is, that's for sure.
Okay. So yeah, so congratulations on the loot.
Yeah, we were pretty thorough this week.
I think we're running a little bit longer than we intended, but I think the conversation's good. I think we're staying focused. Hopefully the chat kind of feels the same way. I do see a nice comment here that says a show on Sunday night where they actually talk about the game. That's new from Mino. So I think that's great.
Mhm.
Looks like everybody enjoyed their pee break. So hopefully that was good. Is there anything in the
Maybe
chat?
we should incorporate an intermission every week for that.
There's Gaia in the chat room there who I've had a few bidding battles with over the last week or so. So
I know,
trying to buy same set of resources. So that's always fun when you get in these bidding battles. I think we should probably talk at some point about auction house in the future. I mean, topic I think we'd like to do. I do think, like, it seems like I'm getting like some of these bidding wars with people on stuff, and the auction is expired, and then somebody else jumps in randomly, like you're battling someone back and forth, like 45 minutes to an hour, and then somebody else randomly jumps in. Which I think, they almost need, if the auction goes into overtime and there's a billing battle go on, I think they would be wise to kind of limit that to the people that are, I'll say, battling it out, so that you just, I say, three guys like if two people are battling it out and then extending the auction and someone jumps at the end, that would not have had a chance at the item, but for the other two guys bidding. It's almost like they need to prevent that, to keep these things going on and on and on and on. Because I
know
bid
what
something,
you're saying, but I disagree. I like the opportunity to swoop in at the end like that. So we can save that discussion for the auction house show.
All right, but if I've been battling somebody for 6 hours and the auction is supposed to expire,
and I finally wake up
5.5 hours ago, and you wake up and jump in, right?
And fair for everybody.
Yeah, I think that's emotional attachment for sure. And sometimes I gotta watch those clocks, and I got a pretty good idea of when it does change over, and then I just I have a very passive aggressive technique there. I just bid every 14 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, but then someone else after, I say, you've been doing that for 2 hours or so, and then someone else jumps in who's like, where'd this guy come from? But I don't know. But sometimes definitely you've got, like, I would say, an endurance contest in some of these auctions,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm gonna have to upgrade my camera and setup here. I think we're doing 3 episodes. Feels like we're doing well, so I think I'm gonna invest in a camera and what going on. So, all right. I'm not seeing any questions, I think, coming from the chat at this point.
No, we were pretty thorough this week, so.
Yeah,
I think we're good.
Just ask in the chat. I know they asked if you fell and died, but I think you covered that question.
Yeah.
If we felt what? Sorry.
Yeah, someone asked if he had fallen and died. So yeah, I think that's get something there for your camera.
Right on. Yeah. Yeah,
All
and
right, well,
kind of, we're piecing together the technology end of this, which is, hey, it's working, which is good, but I know there's definitely people out there that got better,
Yeah.
better setups, a better way to set up. And I know every time we're about to go live, I'm kind of freaking out about making sure that
Yeah.
things are going to work. So,
hey, you know what? You're doing a great job. I'm glad that you've taken the helm with the tech side of things. So I really do got to give a shout out, a thanks to you, Chris, for making sure that we are live every single week. Because I know there was a little bit of trolling and some people didn't think we could do it, and because of you, here we are every
Here we
single
are.
week. So
we're-
you know, we can only get better at this, right? So,
for sure. And I think we're planning like no frills per se, like putting in, opening credits and music and all other stuff. If somebody wants to do that, great, but that's not anywhere on my to-do list around it. So we shall see. I just see Hoth just did ask a question here. Does anyone have any green system vaults around them? And I'm going to say that is no. They took all the green system vaults out of the game and converted them to blues. When they moved from Coin Hunt World to Cubieverse, the only green vaults left in the game are the ones that have been purchased by players, being green user vaults. So hopefully you were lucky enough to be in an area where someone has purchased a few green user vaults around you, so you can have access to them. So
That made sense
Mhm.
to me because of their long-term plan to allow people to purchase green vault locations. Once that opens up, then you'll start seeing more green user vaults pop up.
yeah, I would have probably purchased
I
more
think the chromatic.
green. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think the chromatic giveaway in Blue Vaults now might have something to do with it because I think we'll be getting
Yeah.
green vaults pretty soon in the shop.
Yeah, hopefully. I know I would have purchased more green user vaults back in Coin Hunt World, but like the locations around us of the green system vaults that you could
Yeah.
purchase were generally terrible. Like I didn't like any location.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is.
Oh, Alan
All
K
right.
was saying there's green system vaults in India, so that's interesting. I haven't actually spoken to anyone who's playing in India, so I'd love to hear from anyone who has to know what their
Yeah,
gaming
that'd be
experience
great.
is like.
I guess that might make sense if we're the places they're doing the soft launches, or weren't previous Coin Hunt World locations. It would make sense that they would have the green system vaults in those areas,
Yeah.
because otherwise, like, there's no way anybody would have them, right? Because they wouldn't have planned. But
Sure.
yeah, I guess that's yeah. So to correct my previous answer, obviously there's none in places that previously had uh, Coin Hunt World locations, but like that in some of these soft launch markets, they are putting some out. So awesome. Okay. All right. Well, I'm thinking we're done. So thank you everybody for joining and watching our show tonight. Hopefully, it's something that you guys enjoyed. We're obviously looking for any feedback, positive or negative, comments, things that you guys would like to see in the future. This is, I said, I don't think any of us have ever done a podcast before. This is not something that we are normally doing, but we're all passionate with the game, which is why we're doing it, because I think we enjoy talking with the game. But any feedback you guys can do, that's great. And as they always say in the YouTuberverse, please like, subscribe, and comment below. So, in fact, did we not say at some point, I think we had an idea on something we want to have people comment on this week, but I cannot for life of me remember what it was. Do you guys remember that?
No,
No.
I think I just, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not at all.
Okay.
All right.
Maybe next week.
Well, okay. Thank you, guys. Yeah, and we'll see you in the auction house. All right. And that is it for show number 3. Thanks, everybody, for coming.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.